The Brewers demoted rookie starting pitcher Logan Henderson to AAA and recalled DL Hill as a lefty reliever. Henderson, get this, in 4 starts was 3-0 with a 1.71 ERA. All the starts were quality starts, 21 innings, 29 strikeouts, .95 whip, and he produced .8 WAR in just 4 games. So like I said, DL Hall, lefty reliever, he was actually acquired in the Corbin Burns trade.
He was a main piece.
An offseason ago, was one of the pieces for that, along with Joey Ortiz, who's been one of the worst hitting shortstops in the league so far for them. The Brewers have multiple starters on the IL this year. They just recently got Aaron Savali back to the rotation. Brandon Woodruff is only a couple of weeks away. They have our friend Nestor Cortez and Jose Quintana on the IL currently. Now, Henderson had a fractured elbow in 2021. He pitched only 81 innings last year, and he's at 51 between majors and AAA. So here's why I bring this up. Why are you sending a guy who's having a historic start to his career down to AAA to have 30 innings, if that's all you're going to have him throw, or 50, say they increase it to 100, 110 or something this year? Why are we wasting those in AAA when he's dominating the MLB? Errol, dial it up!
Now, I don't know what the arbitration is with the kid, but obviously this is what a lot of teams do. They call him up and then they send him down because they want to protect their arbitration and make sure that they have control of him for a certain amount of years. So I don't know how this works for, obviously, the Milwaukee Brewers, but I will say this. The fact is, the MLB has been an organization in a league that's trying to figure out how to make this work. When you have, remember Acuna, when he got called up with the Braves, there was a lot of questions on why they called him up, and then the year after they gave him the $100 million contract in 10 years and controlled his contract. But it looks like it's a great deal for the Braves. I think the Brewers are trying to protect, obviously, him as an asset. They want to control him for a certain amount of time, and that's the reason why they sent him down. But they're going to call him back up in 30 or 40 innings, whatever it is, because obviously this kid is one of the best young pitchers in baseball, and he's going to be the future of their pitching squad. So it's an interesting story. I don't know, but obviously the Brewers have a reasoning behind everything, as every single baseball team does. So.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to basically the control, because you can get to arbitration after 3 years, but there's a thing called Super 2. So if you're in the top 14% of that class coming up that year, then basically they lose that extra basically half year of control before you go to arbitration. I don't understand why they do it with if they're going to, give him the innings anyways and he's throwing well, just wait till those guys come back, because he'll be back. They got Swally back, and then they'll get Woodruff back in a couple weeks. Wait till you get those, so you can get one more start out of them. And it's frustrating because we're not behind closed doors, and I've heard these meetings because I've been a part of them, just being on the other side, where it's like, we want to get you some more work, and they'll make it like, oh, we want to work on your changeup, or when it really comes down to it, they're counting the days. So service time is done by days. It's not done by, okay, you came up 6 times, because he'll lose that option, because the option is for the entire year. So he can go up and down 7 times, and he has to be at least down for 2 weeks unless somebody gets injured. So he's at least going to be down there for 2 more starts unless somebody gets injured and he can come back up. Then you can come back up at any time. But I think it's all comes down to them trying to say maybe it's because his elbow, but that was 2001 or 2021. And so it wasn't like it was last year. So for them to do it in the way he's been pitching, I would rather want those innings in the big leagues. That's just personally me. Because if you're going to give him the innings either way and get him to maybe that 100, 110 mark probably, then why not use him at the highest level when he's shown that he can pitch in this league instead of going?
I agree. It's arbitration. It's got to be. There's nothing else. There's no reason why you send the kid down with the numbers that he has. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's all service time, because he probably came up earlier this year. So if we go back and look at this in a year from now, we can look at all the guys and see if they're in that top percent, because if he is based upon service time, then he would become eligible for Super 2. So they wouldn't get that extra 3/4, half a year where they can still pay him league minimum until he goes to arbitration. So that's really from reading in between the lines and seeing it before. They looked, and it's like there was one year where they didn't bring up somebody like to the day, and then they brought him up the next day because then he would have fell out of the Super 2.
That's why I think baseball needs to find a way to clean this up, or the CBA. I'm sorry, the players' union should figure this out, because I think this arbitration thing and how obviously the executives and the GMs have control of it, and they know exactly how it's going to work, where they can hold a guy for an extra year or an extra 2 years because of it. This is not fair to the player when he wants to become a free agent. And by the time this kid becomes a free agent, a.k.a. Aaron Judge, look, he became a free agent when he was 30 years old because the Yankees didn't call him up until he was 24. So he needed to have at least 6 years in before he went to his contract year. To me, I think baseball and these teams understand how it works, the CBA works, and it falls in the category where I think the CBA and the Players Union need to figure out how it works for them. So I think there's got to be some kind of negotiation in the future for this, because it's not fair to the players, and they're not making their money. Some of these guys are so talented, and they deserve the money. And you got guys like Acuna saying, you know what, I'll take the $100 million because I don't know where I'm going to be 5 years from now. So I don't like it. I don't like how baseball, how these CBA and the way they set it up, how baseball has control of these players for a significant amount of time.
Just feels like it's not what's right for the team, and it's not what's right, or at least the club this season. It's not what's right for them.
I also look at it too from the player's perspective, because he's grinded obviously, and he gets up there, and how demoralizing is that? Go do everything you possibly can, pitch your butt off, and then it's like whatever excuse they gave when they called him into the office, like, hey, we want to get your innings up, or hey, we want you to focus on, throwing your curveball early in the count for more strikes. It could be 1,000 different things where it doesn't just look like, hey, we're protecting your service time, and where now he's like looking himself in the mirror and he's like, what else do I have to do? Like, don't you want to build your players up and feel like they deserve to be there? Because now if he was 0-3 with the 7, we're not having the conversation, but you don't even have all your guys back ready. So why not use those innings here instead of making him like, because he's going to have to go back to AAA, and they're going to be asking him, like, what'd they tell you? Like, you pitched great. Like, why the hell are you back here?
When's the new CBA? When's the new CBA?
Not 28, I thought.
We got 2028, yeah.
So you got a couple more years that you have to wait.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes to the minor leagues. These players should be getting paid more money. I think it's despicable how some of these players...
They have changed the minor league one. It used to be... Now they're
2026
given housing,
expires.
so they don't have to worry about housing.
Yeah,
I'm glad things are improving on those, but it just seems like guys get screwed over like this. Getting the league minimum, pitching like a freaking all-star.